The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was poised to advocate for crucial climate change issues in his participation in the United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP28. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, disqualifies Smartmatic, the country's longtime voting technology partner, from all future elections. The Department of Health maintains it is not currently advocating for border control measures against the spike of respiratory illnesses in China. And the World Health Organization warns that untreated diseases pose a greater threat than the recent bombings in Gaza. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, November 29, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardy Delgado. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will once again leave the country for Dubai, United Arab Emirates, to attend the United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP28, tomorrow. President Marcos will advocate for important issues regarding climate change in the said international forum. Nelma Ribohok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Wednesday said that he will use the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or COP28, as a platform to remind nations of their climate change commitments. PBBM said he is headed to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday.
We will use this platform to rally the global community and call upon nations to honor their commitments, particularly in climate financing.
The president emphasized this during the ceremonial turnover of the People's Survival Fund, or PSF, at Malacanang earlier today. 5 climate change adaptation projects were approved for several local governments with a total value of 539.44 million pesos. Environment Secretary Antonia Yulo Loizaga said that she hopes that the integrated messaging and the approach being pushed by President Marcos will inspire other nations to back the Philippine position as they negotiate for favorable climate financing and support. According to the Secretary, the funds required by the Philippines for its programs on climate change are substantial.
Unfortunately for us, this figure is in the trillions. We are not alone. Many of the small countries as well are also needing a great deal of assistance, both for adaptation and mitigation.
The COP28 will take place in Expo City, Dubai from November 30 to December 12 under UAE's hosting. Negotiators will continue to hammer out outcomes event after the leaders' participation, including for the outcome with respect to the Loss and Damage Fund aimed at aiding vulnerable countries address the impact of climate change in addition to previously agreed climate financing. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In time for the holiday season, the Department of Trade and Industry, in collaboration with Sen Roa Mark Villar, has undertaken a crucial initiative in Divisoria Market, conducting price monitoring inspections. According to the DTI, the majority of groceries in the area are adhering to the right prices based on their suggested retail prices. In fact, one of the groceries inspected has gone above and beyond, offering products at prices up to 5% less than the suggested retail prices. However, not all stores were found in compliance. One store faced scrutiny as some of their products lacked essential information, such as brand name, manufacturer details, contact information, and address.
So wala lahat yon. So sa tingin sa tingin natin, meron siyang multiple violation, kaya bibigyan siya ng notice ng FTE, Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau natin sa DTI, ng notice of violation.
Furthermore, these products were missing the PS mark and price tags despite being displayed on the shelves. The store sales representative explained that these items identified by the DTI were designated for disposal and were not intended for sale.
Hindi rin naman namin alam yon. Tsaka akala namin okay lahat ng items. Then ngayon, nakita ng amo namin na meron palang ganun. Kasi last 2 years pa po yun na meron daw items na ganun. Then hindi siya binibenta ng amo ko. So binigay siya ng amo ko dun sa kasamahan namin before. Then tinanggal po yun eh. So hindi namin alam at hindi alam ng amo ko na siniksik niya pala dito.
The DTI serves as a guardian of consumer rights, and their vigilance in monitoring prices and product information is vital, especially during the festive season. In a related safety reminder, the Department of Trade and Industry is urging everyone to exercise caution during the holidays. They emphasize the importance of avoiding overloading lights and caution against leaving them on overnight to prevent potential fire hazards. As we celebrate, let's prioritize safety and adherence to regulations for a joyful and incident-free holiday season.
Yung sinasabi po ni ma'am na dugtong-dugtong, we do not recommend it pag sobrang dami. Usually, konti lang kasi nga mag-overload. So, we make sure na kahit na may PS mark or ICC sticker, we still exercise caution in using the lights. Huwag babasain kasi it's an electrical product. At saka pag nagde-decorate tayo, make sure na malayo sa mga bata.
Land Transportation Office, or LTO, will propose to the Department of Transportation a change of policy to the existing guidelines for the electronic vehicles.
The Land Transportation Office mentioned that they are receiving reports of electronic vehicles such as e-bike, e-trike, and scooters which are involved in accidents on major roads. They are also causing delay to other motorists because of their maximum speed.
O masyadong mabagal rin naman, lahat ang tala sa traffic. In fact, sa EDSA, may makikita tayong scooter riders.
LTO Chief Assistant Secretary Attorney Vigor Mendoza said that on the existing guidelines, e-vehicles which are having a maximum speed of 25 kilometers per hour and below are not required to register their units. With this current system, the LTO wants to create a policy change. The agency will propose next week to the Department of Transportation to require e-vehicles to register before they traverse the major roads and secondary roads.
We are now proposing to DOTR a change of policy. It doesn't matter the speed in which you run, but the place where you run. And kung sa tabi lang ng bahay niyan, okay lang yan. Pero oras na itabas mo yan sa main thoroughfare, kailangan registrado yan.
Aside from registration, LTO will also propose to require e-vehicle drivers to have driver's license before they can operate. They will also restrict 16 years old and below to drive e-vehicles. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Despite the rising respiratory illnesses in China, the Department of Health maintains it is not currently advocating for border control measures, aligning with the guidance from the World Health Organization. Gladys Suwabi details why.
The World Health Organization has only recommended general preventive measures against respiratory illnesses. Thus, there is no specific measures for travelers and border control that are being recommended. According to the Department of Health, their ongoing surveillance and reporting of influenza-like symptoms in the Philippines show that cases have started to plateau. Their data shows that as of November 11, 2023, they have recorded 182,721 influenza flu-like cases. However, this is 51% higher compared to the 121,160 cases reported during the same period of last year. According to Health Secretary Ted Herbosa, there is nothing to worry about.
So you have to understand, this is common in all the temperate countries, yung influenza-like illnesses during the cold weather. Hindi naman tayo nagko-cold weather dito, warm tropical country tayo. Hindi naman siya new viruses, it's the common diseases like mycoplasma, pneumonia, flu, and respiratory syncytial virus. At saka ito, karamihan mga children. These are children. So it's also part of the seasonal endemic respiratory illness. So I want to tell the people, don't be worried. We're doing our own surveillance.
He added that response measures are in place.
Of course, we'll be able to field as soon as there are rise of cases going to our emergency department. So sanay na yan, we can activate immediately the same way we activated during COVID-19. So wag mag-alala mga kababayan natin sa mga news reports on respiratory illness in China.
DOH has urged the public to voluntarily wear masks, observe proper hand washing, and get vaccinated. Gladys Tawabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, the World Health Organization, or WHO, is concerned about the shattered healthcare and sanitation systems in Gaza. If not repaired, the current situation could result to more deaths from untreated disease than from bombings, according to the agency. Ryuji Sasaki will tell us the details live. Yes, Ryuji, good evening.
Good evening, Elsie. The World Health Organization, or WHO, described the collapse of Al-Shifa Hospital in northern Gaza as a tragedy. Spokesperson for the WHO, Margaret Harris, aired her concern about the detention of the hospital's medical staff when Israel got control of the facility in early November. Due to the atrocities started by Hamas on October 7, 2023, and retaliation by Israel, health and sanitation systems in the Gaza Strip have been shattered. Reports on the living conditions for displaced residents in the area disclosed that there are no medicines, no vaccination activities, even without supply of safe water and hygiene, as well as the lack of food. Harris reiterated concerns on the rise in outbreaks of infectious diseases in the besieged territory, particularly diarrheal diseases. If key sanitation services and access to safe water in Gaza are not restored, it could lead to an enormous surge of gastrointestinal and infectious diseases, including cholera. The WHO fears the dire situation of Gaza's health and sanitation systems could result to more people dying from untreated diseases than due to bombardment. While the WHO has recorded more than 44,000 cases of diarrhea and 70,000 acute respiratory infections, it is believed the number could actually be significantly higher. Moreover, rains and floods to be expected during the approaching winter season also cause extreme concern for the health agency, for fears of further worsening already dire health and sanitary conditions in the conflict zone. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Ryuji Sasaki, reporting live from Japan.
A senator wants to launch an investigation against his fellow lawmaker. Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa says he is studying to conduct an inquiry against Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel over his alleged communist links. In today's hearing, several former students who claimed to be former rebels who were recruited in schools and universities alleged that Manuel was a member of the Communist Party of the Philippines, or CPP, and a recruiter of its armed wing, New People's Army, or NPA.
What does that make of Raul Manuel?
He is a member of the Communist Party of the Philippines, but he is not a member of the New People's Army. So si Raul, hindi niya choice. Hindi niya choice na mag-NPA. Pero, he's part the body na nagre-recruit for the NPA.
Kaya pala tuwang-tuwa itong tao na ito nung sabi na pinaganahan lang sila na papasukin daw yung ICC. Tingnan natin ngayon, ikaw ang imbestigahan ko. Ikaw ang imbestigahan ko. I will do all my parliamentary powers to pin you down. Ikaw pala talaga ay membro ng Communist Party of the Philippines, which is the partido of the New People's Army who is trying to destroy this government.
In a statement, the Kabataan Party List denies the allegations against Manuel. The group calls De La Rosa's move as unbecoming of a senator, adding that the planned inquiry is a waste of Senate's resources and public funds. It adds De La Rosa only wants witch hunt against young critics and not a real investigation. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is throwing support behind the recommendations of the Private Sector Advisory Council Digital Infrastructure Group to certify as priority legislation 3 pending bills in the Senate. Among these proposals are the Cybersecurity Act, Anti-Mule, and Online Site Blocking Act. Through these legislative initiatives, the aim is to strengthen measures to protect public digital assets and combat various forms of cybercrimes. According to President Marcos, he intends to carefully examine these proposed laws and explore what can be done to expedite their progress through Congress. The president's endorsement reflects a commitment to enhancing digital security measures and safeguarding citizens against the diverse threats posed by cybercrimes. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, disqualifies Smartmatic, the country's longtime voting technology partner, from all public bidding processes for future elections. Dante Amento tells us why.
In a 17-page resolution by the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC and Bank, promulgated Wednesday afternoon, November 28, the COMELEC resolved to disqualify Smartmatic Philippines Incorporated from participating in any public bidding process for elections. The Commission cited the allegations against its former chairman Andres Bautista for accepting bribe money from Smartmatic in the 2016 elections, but Bautista denied the same. Bautista is being charged in the U.S. The U.S. Justice Department reached out to COMELEC in October last year to ask for documents over their investigation. 5 members of the Commission and Bank, including COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia, voted to disqualify the country's voting technology provider since 2010. Commissioner Amy Ferolino had a separate opinion. Commissioner Marlon Casquejo, on the other hand, has no participation in the vote. The resolution was not based on the supposed irregularities in the 2022 polls argued by former acting DICT Secretary Eliseo Rio. In a statement, Smartmatic said it was profoundly disappointed with the decision, denying the allegation that the company is indicted in the U.S. and any other country. Smartmatic is among the companies that expressed interest in bidding for the new automated election system for the 2025 midterm polls. Chairman Garcia earlier said their decision would be free from any influence and be based on the rule of law for the sake of the voting public.
Actually, napakadami kasing mga legal issues na dapat na i-resolve. Hindi kasi siya ganun kadali. Simply because, alam niyo, when you are arriving at a decision, always remember that the COMELEC should not decide only based on whatever is the sentiment of people, whatever is the chismis of others.
The Campo Brio, meanwhile, welcomed the COMELEC's move disqualifying the Smartmatic, but they said they will still discuss and study the resolution. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And in other global news, Australia is planning for a legislation to ban the import of single-use electronic cigarettes, or e-cigarettes, as well as the manufacture, advertising, or supply of disposable vapes. The danger of the product in the country has evolved into recreational product use that affects the youth, eventually serving as a dangerous gateway to future use of tobacco and addiction. The Australian government found that around 1 in 7 youth aged 14 to 17 years old use vapes. Starting next year, January 1st, the ban will be effective. The government will also introduce legislation to ban the manufacturing, advertisement, and supply of disposable vapes in 2024. Finland is shutting their entire border with Russia following a sudden influx of migrants traveling into the country. Paul Gatchalian tells us why.
Almost 1,000 asylum seekers have entered Finland from the Russian border crossings this month, with only one last road post in the Arctic Circle due to be shut on Thursday, November 30 for 2 weeks. The Finnish government has accused Moscow of deliberately helping migrants into the country as part of its hybrid warfare following Finland's membership in NATO this year. According to authorities, the migrants have come from countries including Morocco, Pakistan, and Syria, while only a handful have crossed the last open crossing this week. The government said it was taking no chances with this national security threat.
Our aim is that the exceptional situation at the eastern border of Finland returns back to normal as soon as possible. We don't accept any attempts to undermine our national security.
Meanwhile, Finland's non-discrimination ombudsman criticized the Finnish government for closing the borders and potentially endangering the right to seek asylum under international law. The government stated that people arriving by boat and air are still able to seek asylum. Paul Gatchalian, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people. We give glory to God.
Tensions are escalating in the East and South China Seas as the Chinese official issues a warning to Australia regarding any naval movements in the region. This comes in the aftermath of an incident near Japan's territory where an Australian diver was injured during an operation to remove fish nets entangled in the propellers of the Royal Australian Navy frigate HMAS Toowoomba. On November 14, Royal Australian Navy divers were in Japanese territorial waters for the removal operation. Despite prior warnings of ongoing diving operations, a Chinese vessel released hull-mounted sonar pulses, prompting the Australian divers to surface for a medical assessment, having sustained injuries to their ears. Liu Jiangchao, the head of the International Department of the Chinese Communist Party, explained that the sonar incident occurred in disputed territory between Japan and China. China expressed bewilderment at the presence of the Australian Navy in the area. The HMSA Toowoomba, the same Australian vessel involved in the incident, recently joined patrols in the South China Sea for the first time on Saturday amid heightened tensions between Beijing and Manila. Liu Jiangchao suggested that Australia's naval presence is aimed at containing China. In response, Australia asserts its right to conduct freedom of navigation and overflight operations in accordance with international law. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
The DNR Warriors and Ombudsman Graph Busters successfully maintained a pristine record in their respective groups as the UNTV Cup Season 10 elimination round unfolded yesterday. Meanwhile, the judiciary Magus finds themselves in a losing streak after falling short against the NHA Home Masters. JP Nunez reports.
In a gripping showdown, the NHA Home Masters climbed to the third spot in Group A of the UNTV Cup Season 10 eliminations, toppling the Judiciary Magus with a final score of 89-82. Alvin Vitog showcased an outstanding performance for the Home Masters, amassing 21 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists. The rookie player EJ Elijah also contributed significantly with 17 points and 6 rebounds. With 3 wins and 1 loss, NHA stands strong, while the Judiciary grapples with a balanced 2-win, 2-loss record.
Buti na lang lahat ng mga player namin nag-step up. Tapos mas matibay na yung depensa namin itong mga third quarter. Naiwan namin sila. Tapos si Yam, coming up from the injury, medyo nag-perform ng maganda. So, nagawa rin namin yung mga tinrain namin para magawa namin sa larong ito.
2-game losing streak kami. Siguro back to the drawing boards kami. And then, magre-regroup itong team na to.
Very few baskets itong DFA in the last 4 minutes. Mantala, again, guys.
Meanwhile, the DFA emissaries faced a formidable barrier as the DENR Warriors dominated with a resounding final score of 112-88. Ed Rivera, the gentle giant, led the Warriors with 17 points, 11 boards, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Alfie Grihado added to the offensive prowess with an impressive 33 points and 7 rebounds. The DENR Warriors maintained their commanding position atop Group B, boasting an undefeated record with 3 matches. On the flip side, the DFA languishes at the bottom of the standings with a discouraging 0-4 win-loss record.
Maganda yung laro natin at nagpapasalamat ako sa players na nag-respond sila dun sa ating instruction sa kanila to play hard. Kahit regardless kung sino man yung kalaban namin, naghahanda kami and then yung mga players binibigay nila yung best nila.
Hindi masyado na yung game plan namin kasi parating sa loob, medyo sila, nagugulo. So yun nga, niremind ko yung mga boys na dapat kung ano yung game plan namin, kailangan namin mag-stick sa game plan. Hindi mo pwedeng pagdating sa laro, magiging iba yung namin, yung laro namin.
The Ombudsman Graph Busters continued their undefeated streak in Group A, triumphing over the DOJ Beacons with a score of 97-82. Paz Aldous starred with 31 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals, while Paul Ladia contributed significantly with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, and 4 steals. The Ombudsman Graph Busters are set to face their equally undefeated counterparts, the GSIS Furies, in a much-anticipated clash this Sunday. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our Kasambahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity. From Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time, through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of John, chapter 14, verse 6, it says, Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father, but by me. And those are the reasons. The news, November 29, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Hardin Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.